Night two on the feeds. Welcome to the mess. What a messy ass house already, and it's night two. Thank God we are finally getting feeds from the beginning because we clearly always miss way too much on the feeds. So much to talk about, so little time. I'm going to start with the ass clown that is Frenchie. Frenchie has some terminal illnesses, and one of them is definitely HOH-itis. He really thinks he is a mastermind and is night two. He's a mastermind on night two when really he is just a mess. He has another much worse terminal disease. And that is his performative, fake, woke bullshit. And I will get into that a lot more at the end of this. And for anybody that happened to watch our Big Brother Canada coverage, I was on Tara's neck the whole time. But I'm about to be 10 times worse to this fucking idiot. Now, aside of his problematic self, he's also just very bad at this game. He has HOH-itis, and he is just promising everyone the world. He said everyone was safe except for about 3 or 4 people. He has basically tried to make several different alliances, all called the same name. He has made the Slaughterhouse Alliance with several different people. And I think in his own mind, as he's saying at the end of Feed Tonight, he thinks he's really doing something. He thinks he's really out here giving people information to get back to him. But really all he's doing is creating an environment where he is clearly going to be a target as soon as his team's not safe. And if his team's not safe week 2, I mean, there's a good shot that Frenchie's going to be on the block. Not necessarily, like he has connections because he's HOH, but we all know week 2 that can change quite quickly, especially if he continues to make everybody be so suspicious of him because he's being so obviously stressed. And he says he's not stressed, he's just working everybody. He's just getting information from everybody. This idiot is so stressed and so all over the place. So yeah, like I said, he made all the Slaughterhouse alliances. There's about 3 or 4 of them. They're all with different combinations of people. Don't know what he's trying to accomplish there. So Frenchie was targeting Brent last night, but people were talked to Frenchie. A couple of people talked to him. One of them was Derek F. about how Brent's a good dude. And so Frenchie had a conversation with Brent. And after that conversation, Brent was no longer his target. And I don't know if that was charm for Brent, especially since Frenchie was changing his mind a lot. And changing his mind before he talked to Brent. So after that conversation, he basically told some lies to Brent that Christian was the one, even though it was really mostly Tiffany, that Christian was the one that suspected Brent was being close with the women and that Brent was being close with Alyssa, and Christian wants to be close with Alyssa, which is half true, I think. And so his new target was Christian. And that brings us to Sarah. No, excuse me. That brings us to Sarat. Sarat is the one that told Christian that he is probably a target. And I kind of understand it. They're on the same team, so I'm not totally busting up on Sarah. I just wanted to say Sarat, honestly. But, so yeah. And that brought us to the wild card competition, which ended up being, and basically the wild card competition is 3 people from each team go into a challenge together. The winner is safe this week. All these fucking safety comps. Why? I have no idea. Honestly, all these competitions don't make for great television. I don't know why Big Brother thinks that. They always just make their episodes so comp heavy, and I hate it. But it ended up being Christian versus Kyland versus Hannah. Apparently, Hannah did really well, but it was Christian who won, and so Frenchie's newest target was safe. And we'll get back to that little thread in the day but first I want to talk about what might shape up to be the main alliance in the house. And that is the cookout, which at first seemed to be Azza, Tiffany, Derek F, and Xavier. Yes, the black players have watched a lot of Big Brother and they know that's usually the white alliance that has to stick together. So why not have the cookout for the culture? And I know all those whites on Facebook are probably pressed as if they haven't watched 22 seasons of big white alliances. Now, at first I wasn't sure if Kyland was in it, but by the end of the night, it turns out Derek F had told him about the alliance. And it is a nice change of pace. I know white people like to make a big deal about it sometimes, about, oh, why are the black people just working with black people? They're not just working with black people. But the main alliance right now, that seems to be the strongest alliance so far. There could be cracks, but I don't think so yet. But the cookout's looking strong. Now, going back to Frenchie lying to Brent about Christian. Brent hates Christian now. He hates Christian. He is waiting to argue with Christian, I can tell. And honestly, I don't think Christian suspects a thing. It's funny because Christian is being painted as this guy who's rallying numbers, but he has no numbers. He's just really good at comps. Meanwhile, Brent, on the other hand, is being able to work his social game quite well. Even so much so that the cookout had a conversation earlier tonight how they might need to take out Frenchie before Brent, even though they're close to Frenchie. Maybe Brent does have some charm. Well, I gotta get back to Frenchie because this idiot and his performance wokeness that has happened is on my nerves by the end of these fucking feeds. Yesterday I was like, maybe we got to give him a chance. And I said that if he actually follows through with all of his promises, then he's not just pandering. But after 2 days, clearly he was just pandering. And I know he's kind of in a hard spot because of all these fucking safety challenges. But there's plenty of white guys to get out still. Well, there's 2. And it would still work. But now that he's, I guess, been charmed by Brent, he's left with either Travis or Derek X. But the worst part about this for me is that he lied on Derek X's names a lot. Like Derek X was just telling all these different shit to different people. And then the last things I saw on feeds was him basically trying to intimidate Derek X. Yes, Mr. Woke, Mr. I don't want to cause problems, Mr. fucking idiot. He basically called out Derek X in front of his team when they were all talking. Derek X's team, the Aces with Hannah and Whitney and Brent, about how he knows Derek X has his alliance. And his HOH-itis just continued to grow. So my chances for Frenchie are done. That's over. And it's not even about Derek X because honestly, Derek X is an idiot. He has played. It's not that he's even an idiot. He's a recruit. Him and Travis are definitely two of the recruits, and it's clear that they're the two joined at the hip for 2 days straight. They've been joined at the hip, not talking game with anybody else. So it's really not surprising that they're getting seen as a duo. But still, Mr. Woke, Frenchie, didn't have to be so shitty about the situation. And he could go after Travis and live up to his promises and not try and go after Derek X. I feel like that can still change, but who knows? He's so all over the place. At the end of the night, I don't even know how to recap this part, honestly. There was this odd point in the night where Frenchie called in Derek F and Xavier and Christian and Kylan into his room to create yet another fake slaughterhouse alliance and how they're going to get out Derek X. Then he goes downstairs and talks to most of the girls and say, I need a volunteer as a pawn. And of course, none of the girls want to volunteer as a pawn, especially after all the shit that he spewed about how he doesn't want a woman to go home. And so that conversation with the dudes, the five guys, including Frenchie, was just so odd, so fake from Frenchie. And I don't know if any of them really fell for it. I just don't know what this blubbering idiot is trying to accomplish. Yesterday he said he didn't want to be seen as the dumb Southerner who is targeting minorities. And yet here he is being the dumb Southerner who is targeting minorities. Rockstar better get off this fucking ship or all of her goodwill is going to go out the fucking window if she keeps riding the Frenchie train. Like last night, I want to talk about, just run through everybody's games for the day from what I can recall. We might as well just go by team. I've talked a lot about Frenchie. He's been all over the place, creating different slaughterhouse alliances, telling different people he wants to get out. He has just spiraled today, and it's day 2. I mean, like, Jose was some good feats, and it hasn't topped Jose for me. When Jose in BB18 made that 9-person alliance while on the block and really thought he was doing something. Frenchie's up there because he's basically tried to make a 12-person alliance. That's basically what he has accomplished, and most people are starting to realize this. So good luck, Frenchie. You're gonna need it. Azza continues to be one of the smartest people in the house. She has a great social game. She now has that cookout alliance we know about. I just think she's just a very likable person, but she also knows the game. Azza remains one of my favorites. Brittany, I want to like Brittany, but I've already talked about how she talks too much. Brittany's game is okay, but she does strike me as one of the women who are going to target women. And I've already said a lot about that on this channel, about how that gets on my nerves. So Brittany's still at the bottom of the people in this cast for me. Derek F, another great social game. I like the talks him and Tiffany had today. I've already gave love to Tiffany yesterday. Her social game, still the best in the house. But these two talking and plotting, very dangerous duo, Derek F and Tiffany. More about Tiffany, might as well talk about her next. Like I've already said, best social game going. She makes rounds talking to a lot of different people. She just needs to make sure she's telling the right people the right things. I think right now, since so much other chaos is going on, it's good. But in the future, hopefully she doesn't go a little overboard talking to too many people. Derek X, he's in trouble. He's definitely one of the targets. He's just finally, I think, at least woken up. But like everybody else started playing on day one, and the two recruits, Derek X and Travis, just started playing a few hours ago. Travis is very smart. Travis is a very smart dude, but that's basically all I have to say about Travis. He and Derek X just started playing the game tonight or night two. Kylan, he does have a good social game. Tonight he was just trying to do too much. He just got sucked into the whole Frenchie drama a lot tonight, and he was just doing the most. I don't think it's gonna hurt him. I don't think, but he needs to hold back a little. Everybody's not everybody, but half the cast is playing really hard, and it's been 2 days. I mean, I love it. It's making for mess, and we want players who are here to play, so it's great. But Kylan needs to relax a little. Claire, Claire's an odd one for me. Her social game, I really do think, I'm telling people don't agree with me on Twitter, but her social game isn't the best. She's just not really great at like connecting with people on a game level from what I have seen so far. But it's early, obviously. It's just night two, so there's room to grow. I think she and a lot of the girls tonight were really on Frenchie's ass. They're starting to realize Frenchie's a little crazy, and Claire was definitely one of those people. There was a great moment when uh, Frenchie was basically trying to scare Derek X, and this was the end of the night. Claire was coming to say goodbye, I mean, good night, and she just saw what was going on, said goodnight really quickly, closed the door really quickly. Made me laugh. Who else is left tonight? Sarah, I talked about her main point today. She was a rat. She told Christian he was a target, made Christian play in the challenge. She's definitely here to float, but she's smart. She was also one of the women tonight talking about Frenchie and his stupidness and how he's just trying to do a backdoor in week one when he really could just put two people on the block, being Travis and Derek X. Xavier, one thing I didn't talk about was that when Christian won the wild card, he also got to save somebody. He saved Xavier. So I guess it's just more people being saved. And if this is going on for 4 weeks, by the end of this stupid team twist, not a lot of people are going to be eligible to be put up for elimination. So it's pretty goddamn dumb. Alyssa and Christian, I'll just talk about both of them next. They're kind of being put together as a showmance right now by other people. I don't think there's going to be a showmance, as like I said. I'm pretty sure Alyssa's in a relationship. So if that ends up being a thing, that'd be interesting. But I don't think it's a thing. Hannah, I love Hannah. She very smart. Another of the girls who just are reading Frenchie's dumb gameplay and how he doesn't need to backdoor someone this week. Her name is in Brittany's motor mouth, though, a lot. So that's something to watch for. Whitney, yeah, I don't know what to make of Whitney. She definitely rubs the guys the wrong way. Like I said yesterday, the bros she was rubbed the wrong way with. Today, Derek F seems to be on a mission to make Whitney the next person voted out. So she's clearly doing something wrong on a social level with the guys. Maybe they're just afraid of her. Her and Tiffany still have that connection, but I mean, Tiffany has connections with everyone, so I don't know if Whitney should bank on that. And lastly, that leaves Brent. Like I said, his charm worked today, so maybe he is turning this around. I think what he's doing, he's trying to make real connections, and it's working. It has worked on Derek F. It has worked on Frenchie. So he is a social player. I'm gonna end it there. A lot happened today. I don't have a lot of time. I'm recording this at 3 in the morning. It's hot in here. So I'm going to go to bed now.